Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel, guys. You've got Bert and Lanny here, the DD, your brothers of destruction here. And we're talking to you about a possible undervalued stock, obviously based on some unfortunate events.
But before we talk about this stock, subscribe to our channel, give this video a thumbs up. Thanks for helping us reach 16,000 viewers, everybody. Now we're starting that journey to 17,000 and hopefully bump us up to 20,000. That would be freaking great, everybody. So thank you. Once we get to 20,000, we'll do a swag giveaway. As a longer poll goal, and we'll have a few more giveaways in between, but keep that in mind. 20,000, we're announcing some swag for some viewers.
No doubt about it, Bert. Well, guys, we're going to talk today, yes, about Norfolk Southern. Ticker symbol is NSC. And the elephant of Norfolk right now is the big, massive, multi-million-dollar expense derailment that happened in East Palestine, Ohio, a little over a month ago now. And it hasn't been just one derailment that's happened with Norfolk. It's almost like the dominoes. Chips are just falling right now, and Norfolk is constantly in the news, not just every week, but sometimes almost every day at this point, right, Bert?
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, obviously, for what's happening. So we can't emphasize that enough. Like, what's going on for the company and the people in the towns that are impacted is obviously awful. And you're right, it keeps happening, it keeps rolling. They can't get just in a string of bad luck. Everyone's had those before where just bad things keep happening and you can't get out of it. So unfortunately, that's where we are with Norfolk Southern. The stock price year to date's dropped 13%. Accordingly, over the last 52 weeks, the price has come down even more. It's down 19%. So obviously, as dividend investors, we're always trying to find stocks. And Lanny and I are both shareholders of Norfolk Southern. And we're always looking for places to deploy our capital when we're buying stocks. And we always look inward first before looking outward to new positions. We're always trying to see if we can add to a new position in our portfolio. So despite the unfortunate news, here we are. We're asking ourselves to take another look at Norfolk Southern to see, is it time to invest a little bit more?
And like we said, it wasn't just the one derailment. There were others that happened soon right after, the one in Michigan. And then recently, within the last week, the one in Springfield, Ohio, which actually caused Norfolk to mandate trains over a certain length. I believe it's 10,000 feet to use distributed power. So instead of just being powered from the front, they're powered in different areas throughout the length of the train, which they're saying could be one of the causes of some of these derailments. And even recently today, as we're filming this here on March, gosh, what is it, the 7th today? Not a derailment, but a Norfolk Southern conductor was killed, obviously inadvertently, in Cleveland, Ohio. He was standing outside one of his trains and a dump truck hit him. So the stock price definitely over the last 45 days has taken a beating. And as Bert said, hey, as tough as this is this a good time to buy Norfolk Southern stock as a dividend investor?
Yeah, so let's talk through, before we jump in there, there's some potential ramifications here of some of this. There's obviously going to be litigation. There's obviously going to be settlements with everything that's happening, the amounts of which we don't know. I mean, there's still so much to learn. It could be tens of millions. It could be some of the larger ones. They can see our other portfolio positions like 3M's working through some large issues. As we know more, we'll continue learning, but that's why the stock price is dropping. In addition to potentially losing business, losing other things, a lot of uncertainty of what's going to happen from the financial statement impact. So yeah, is this time to pounce now that they're down 13%? So as we do with every company, we're going to run their updated metrics through our stock screener, which features 3 metrics: 1, PE ratio less than the S&P 500, 2, payout ratio less than 60%, 3, history of increasing dividends, and then 4, that bonus metric, the dividend yield.
Guys, we're getting into the numbers here. Let's get a little bit more out of the doom and gloom. Let's get excited to look at least the numbers here to see if this is a stock to buy right now. Again, while others might be running out of the stock, it could be a good time to run into the stock. So again, ticker symbol NSC, and Bert and I are using a stock price for Norfolk Southern as of March 7th, 2023, as it closed on Tuesday here. And they closed even another few dollars. As I was reviewing Norfolk Southern, Bert and I, we were just talking about this before we hopped on. I've had to update this price continuously because the price continuously falls, because things continuously keep happening. But the expected earnings right now, based again on Yahoo's figures for their analyst expectations, when we look at that first price to earnings ratio metric to see if they're undervalued, projected earnings are still at $13.73. So at a stock price now at $215, guys, that's a PE ratio of 15.67. So lower than the S&P 500.
Interesting. Let's look at the payout ratio. Annual dividend is $5.40. That gives you a payout ratio of 39%. So below our perfect payout ratio range of 40 to 60%. I think that's going to be an important metric to really keep an eye on for Norfolk Southern going forward, as a lot of those litigation costs are coming and start trickling through that provide uncertainty. Let's just say you slash earnings in half, the dividend is still covered. The payout ratio is still less than 100%. So the 39% mark gives you a lot of buffer in there, but
still gives you a lot of room. And Bert, I mean, I know you're if you want to just get into the dividend growth as well, because they have a pretty good track record right now going for them.
Yeah, they've increased for 8 consecutive years at a 5-year dividend growth rate of 8.66%. However, they've also paid 33 years of consecutive dividends. And the reason why they haven't grown it for 33 years is there were a few years in the mid 2010s where the railroad sector just ceased increasing dividends. They paid a flat dividend across sector wide because all the companies were getting hit. So they lost the streak, but they've rebuilt it to a nice 8+ years.
And with that stock price dropping down, I know obviously we're going to hear maybe some items in the comments here because of the risk-free rate that you can get right now on treasuries and high yield savings accounts. But Norfolk's dividend is now at 2.51%, guys, which, you know, if you look at the historical 5-year average of where Norfolk has been recently, again, over the last 5 years, that average yield is 1.84%. So you're talking almost a 50% jump almost on that yield right now.
That's perfect. So let's summarize it here. P ratio 15.6, payout ratio 39%, 5-year growth rate 8.66. They've increased for 6 years with a yield of 2.5%. Let's talk performance quickly. Again, they're down 13% year to date, down 52 weeks of the year. Lanny brought in the research here. We're going to feature them compared to CSX. CSX is only down 3.85% and over year to date, and down 15% over the last 52 weeks. So what is this telling you, Lanny, when you look at those comparisons?
Obviously, Norfolk, I mean, the industry is down overall. And I'm sure some of what's happening with Norfolk is also impacting the railroad industry. But, you know, it's no question that Norfolk is obviously taking the brunt of the issues, and it hasn't translated completely to the other railroad partners such as CSX. You know, Norfolk's still around 50 billion in market cap. CSX is around 60 billion. So essentially, you know, very similar in size. So guys, that's Norfolk Southern.
Yeah. Let's answer this, Lanny, for the viewers here. Let's just rapid fire this. We can each get our response out. You first. Are you going to, at $215.18, are you going to buy, watch, or just overall pass on Norfolk Southern?
You know, it's definitely on the watch list. You know, I'm going to be open and honest with the community. They're on my watch list. We wouldn't do a video. I wouldn't do a video right now about this instance if it wasn't on my radar. You know, again, a company that's been through a lot. The history is there. Derailments, you know, I think people were also telling me on the side that derailments happen all the time, but obviously this is a massive one. You know, feel for everybody involved, but $215 still seems a little high with everything that is going on with Norfolk. I don't want to get too greedy in this situation here as well. If I do want to add to my Norfolk and Southern position, you know, again, what? Oh, you know, 5% like another $10 in share price drop. So if it drops below into that, you know, 200 to 210 range, I'd be probably looking to add at least one share. What
Yeah.
about you, Bert?
I was gonna say watch, and I set my price at a flat 200. So if it hits 200 or lower, I'll look into adding a share, or even honestly a fractional share. I might just pick up a half share. I don't have to buy in full share. That's the nice thing with Fidelity. You can buy fractional pieces. Not afraid to do it, but I'm gonna set it at 200 or lower for me, and then I'll be scooping up at least something from Norfolk Southern.
So community, did you own Norfolk Southern? What did you do based on the news of what happened in East Palestine and all the other locations? Are you holding? Did you buy more? Are you buying more right now? Or did you end up selling your stock and moved it into somebody like CSX or another railroad transportation service company? Let us know in the comments below.
And to do that too, let's just add this. If you want us to compare in a different video, Norfolk to the others and just run a full railroad battle royale, if you want us to help with that decision, let us know, because we'd be happy to possibly put one up where we compare and see how they're looking versus the industry.
Guys, there you have it. Norfolk Southern, the Dividend Diplomats hot take. Ticker symbol is NSC. You're either with us or you're against us here, guys. That was Bertha, Hurt, and Lanny from the Dividend Diplomats. Over and out.